Hello, this is Dr. Michael Greger coming to you live from my treadmill to answer any questions you may have, as I do every month. I just did a Facebook Live about an hour ago, and now hopefully we'll finish up any and all questions you may have. For those of you who are familiar with my work, every year, I read through every issue of every English language nutrition journal in the world. So busy folks like you don't have to. I then compile the most interesting, most groundbreaking, most practical findings and new videos and articles I upload every day to my nonprofit site, NutritionFacts.org. Everything on the website is free. There are no ads, no corporate sponsorships, strictly non-commercial, not selling anything. Just put it up as a public service, as a labor of love, as a tribute to my grandmother, whose own life was saved with evidence-based nutrition. All right, let's get to your questions. First question, just starting at the top, is Leanne A. asks, please share my thoughts, recommendations on purchasing a treadmill desk. Any features to look for and or avoid? Now, I don't actually have a treadmill desk. I have a treadmill slipped under some cheap plastic shelving kept together with duct tape, but there are actually treadmill desks around. But probably the cheapest, easiest way is to just go to a thrift store where they have lots of typical thrift store with lots of old exercise equipment that nobody uses anymore. Get a cheap treadmill and then just, put it under a table, desk, milk crates, just build up, put your laptop on top, you're ready to go. But there are fancy treadmill options with you press a button and it goes up and down. You can sit, you can stand. I've seen all sorts of stuff. When I first started looking at them, they were really expensive. Presumably by now there's more competition. Things have come down, but still not sure how much. I'm trying to think in terms of there. I saw some that were really narrow and short. Presumably you want to have a little leeway so you don't fall off the back. And you're going slow, so you don't need, I don't know. I'm sure there's some, treadmills that do all sorts of fancy stuff. You don't need it to incline. You don't need it to, I don't know. So just a real basic kind of thing. You're only going 2-3 miles an hour. Wear good footwear. That's, I don't know. So your feet don't hurt. I don't know. If you find a good one, let everybody know. Thankfully, my here we go. Get one with like a warranty, like a lifetime warranty or a really good warranty, because the motors burn out. That slow, long movement is I don't know. It's very stressful for the motors. I've been through 3-4 motors already. Thousands of miles. But they just keep doing them for free because I have some lifetime whatever. Anyway. Those are some thoughts. Byron Murphy asks, is answering somebody else's question. Okay. Dr. A says, I'm eating whole food plant-based, take 500 micrograms of B12 a week and a vitamin D3 supplement. Any other supplements I should take? So I would actually up that 500 a week. You take 500 a day, or 1,500 would be a better week, or no, is it 2,500? Do I even know my current recommendations? I think it's 2,500, right? Whatever I say, and I'm not to die. I think it's 2,500 micrograms. So once a week is all you need. So you can keep your 500, just take more of them. And vitamin D3, I think 2,000 international units a week. A day. For those not getting sufficient sunshine. Any other supplements? You can look at my series on preformed long chain pollutant-free forms of EPA DHA. If you just type in DHA into NutritionFacts.org, pull up the videos and to see if you want to supplement with those. It's controversial, so look at the science and make up your own mind. All right, Maple Flavor asks, what are the mechanisms which make a sedentary lifestyle unhealthy, assuming you're eating really well? Good question. It seems like a basic, but wait, what's wrong with just kind of lying around? The problem is stasis. the state when your blood pools in your legs, like you're sitting down, blood pools in your legs, and that when you don't have the blood flow moving along your endothelium, there's actually a shear force as the blood flow moves across the inner layer of your arteries that actually causes your the endothelium, that the inner layer, to be healthy, release nitric oxide, dilate, do all sorts of healthy things. It's actually caused by that shear force. So if you don't have this shear force, if blood's just pooling, sitting there in your lower extremities, you increase your risk of your blood is more coagulable and increase your risk for cardiovascular disease. So so exercise, or even just non-sedentariness, meaning taking walks, taking frequent breaks, not sitting for hours at a time, getting a treadmill desk or standing desk, same thing, because just standing, you have to use your postural muscles, even though you don't think you're actually moving, but it actually prevents that kind of pooling that you have during sitting. So your endothelium is the answer. Cicely asks, what is the cause of foam in the urine? How to resolve it? Well, a lot of times when people say they have foamy urine, it's just they had to pee really bad and the force of the urine stream churns up some water and it looks foamy. Or it can be extra concentrated if you're dehydrated or pregnant. But it could also be because there's protein in your urine. It's not supposed to be protein in your urine. The whole point of your kidneys is to get rid of the stuff you don't want, hold on to the stuff you do want. And so you want to hold on to protein. If your body starts to leak protein, something called proteinuria, then that suggests your kidney function is in decline. And so if you have foamy urine, you can get a quick, easy test from your medical practitioner called urinalysis, where you pee in a little cup, and they test it for urine to see if you have protein in urine. If you do, then they need to do some kidney function testing. They have to do ultrasound, a couple of things. But that's the first thing. Or it could be, again, totally nothing, but you don't know until you put it to the test. Right. Okay, Marie Kessler asks, how can we be certain that food labeled organic is really organic? Fraud concerns me. Anything with this green, I guess it doesn't have to be green, USDA round sticker is by law, USDA organic since 2002, I believe. And they actually have independent auditors. Part of the program. The reason it's so hard, for small farmers to go organic is because it costs money. They have to buy into this program. It's not enough to just be organic. They actually have to, pay money. And part of that money goes to have inspectors come and check out and make sure you're doing what you're doing. Because they take organic seriously. Otherwise, it's kind of meaningless. So there is organic certification and auditing. And so now the question is imported produce. Is it possible that they don't have the same standards? They should by law, but maybe there's less oversight. That's something I'm not sure of. But and look, even something's organic. If you're worried about pesticide residues, there could be pesticides being sprayed on the crop next door. You can still get a little pesticide residues, but in general, the organic produce has less pesticides, if that's what you're concerned about, more phytonutrients. You can check out my videos on is organic safer, more healthy. Talk about the data both ways. All right, Maple Flavor says, when I make bread from flour, does it retain the selenium? Are you using hopefully you're using whole grain flour, so I have a lot of minerals in it. Yes, so selenium is a mineral, and so it doesn't go anywhere. If you remember your chemistry class, selenium is an element. So you only in like a nuclear explosion could you actually change one element to another. So no matter how much cooking or whatever, in fact, how you tell how many minerals are in a food is you reduce to ash. And basically what's left, that's the minerals, because there's nothing else, right? So selenium is there if it was there, obviously, in the first place, in the ingredients. Okay. Wow, I'm never going to be able to pronounce this. GRCVGC, not a single noun. in the first or last name, but I'm going to say Krikivig. Can I tell that this person the RDA and upper limit of vitamins and minerals? Sure. Probably the easiest thing is to just Google it. There's lots of vitamins, lots of minerals. But so these are determined by the recommended daily allowance. And these dietary reference intakes are determined by the Institute of Medicine. And because it is a federal entity, everything's free. All their books downloadable, and so you can not only get their tables, get their summaries, and find out exactly what those values are, but how they came to those values. So you can read all you want to know. Institute of Medicine, but just Google RDA or DRI for any particular nutrient, and it should pop right up. Maple flavor is back. Smart enough to know to get on early on the YouTube thing. Put all your questions down so you make sure I get to them, because I just go in order. What herb spices do I use in place of salt? Do I use Dash or Bragg's, for example? Okay, so in How Not to Die, I have a whole section on salt and talk about all the herbs and spices I use in place of salt. Though Dash, there's lots of spice blends, salt-free, sodium-free spice blends. Dash is one. The cheapest one I've been able to find is something called Kirkland. I don't know if that's a Costco brand or something, but they make, you can get a big thing of it. Or, any variety of herbs and spice blends that don't have sodium. Bragg's, however, does have sodium. They like to say they have less sodium, but if you look, less sodium than soy sauce. But if you look, I think Bragg's does their serving size in teaspoon. Soy sauce does their serving size in tablespoon. So it looks like there's less sodium, but it's actually lots of sodium. And so we want to reduce our sodium intake to under 1,500 milligrams a day. That's really difficult to do if we add any salt, or eat processed foods. And so I encourage people to stay away from any salty flavorings. Although, look, if you're eating all whole plant foods, you can throw in some olives and still stay under that limit. But there's not much wiggle room. Byron Murphy asks, is responding to a question from Maple Flavor. Maple Flavor, would I consider do more kitchen videos? That's very kind of you to ask. They were very successful in terms of people seem to like them, got lots of views. They're just such a pain. They just take a lot of prep time, as anyone who's done cooking videos knows. And so I have a whole list of all sorts of other cool ones I'd love to do. But it's just a matter of fitting a time. Right now I'm in book mode, working on the new manuscript. But once that's done, I'm going to do more webinars, and maybe I'll slip in some more cooking videos. I'm glad you like them. Marie Kessler asks, pesticides from other sources. Rain onto an organic farm. What do you do then? What do you do is you choose organic, and reduce your pesticides. I also have a DIY fruit and vegetable wash recipe on NutritionFacts.org. You can just type pesticide wash or fruit and vegetable wash and talk about ways you can reduce pesticides regardless whether you're buying conventional or organic. And of course, I emphasize in How Not to Die and in videos on the site that the risk from pesticides is overwhelmed by the benefits of fruits and vegetables. Even eating the most pesticide-laden fruits and vegetables, we're talking Chilean imported grapes and bell peppers and spinach and strawberries, it is still the benefits far outweigh the risks. But you say, what? Why accept any risk at all? Choose organic. Fantastic. But we should never let concern about pesticides prevent us from stuffing our face with as many fruits and vegetables as possible. Rosaxina asks, how much sodium? Oh, there we go. Under 1,500 milligrams. I mentioned that before. Maple Flavor says, I think you're right about sucralose. And then describes how her stools are without using it. Thank you for that. Byron Murphy asks, Sicily consumes less protein. You only need something amount, and there is a protein in almost every food. Oh, maybe, I think Byron is responding to somebody else. Rosexina asks, is cereal a red light food? Depends what cereal you're talking about. most cereals are crap. Oh my God. They're just packed with sugar, even like the so-called healthy ones. There's very few that actually don't have added sugar, added salt, but there are a few. So for example, Uncle Sam's, I think only has 2 ingredients, which is like rolled wheat and flax seeds. And I think they have a berry one too, has some freeze-dried berries. But if you want to, but finding a cereal that actually complies with the 5-to-1 fiber rule. If you don't know what the 5-to-1 fiber rule is, check out the video on that. It's almost impossible. Uncle Sam's does it, but very few others do. But if you're like, oh, but I really like granola or something, make your own. You can make your own, and not put your health in the hands of corporations that may not have your family's interests at heart. Maple Flavor asks, does the massive protein dump from even a plant-based source like pea protein powder without the fiber cause raised IGF-1? Certainly soy protein does. So I have a video talking about IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, a cancer hormone and growth hormone, which is your levels are boosted by animal protein consumption, but also enough soy protein consumption. But whether or not pea protein has the amino acid profile that would raise IGF-1 levels, I have not looked into. But there's no reason for anyone to take protein powders. You can get protein. It's like saying, well, you get carbohydrate powder, table sugar, or fat powder, which is basically oil, right? Why get isolated sources of any of these when you can eat your nutrients in whole plant foods? All right. All right. Light Dark asked a poop question. The question is particularly Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yes, that is a terrible choice, but I should walk that back. Right? It's always is compared to what? Is Cinnamon Toast Crunch better than sausage and eggs? Yes. Is it better than oatmeal? Not even close. All right. Food isn't good or bad so much as it is better or worse. Food is a zero-sum game. Everything you put in your mouth is a lost opportunity. Put something even healthier in your mouth. So we should always try to notch things up. Right, Rose? Rose is sniffing this beautiful spring weather we're having here in DC. Okay. Oh, I wish I could get her up on the treadmill. Okay. Oh, I bet I can turn the camera. You want to see Rose? You want to say hi to Rose? Hold on. Rose. Well, where's Rose? Is that the wrong side? No. Oh, yeah. Rose. Oh, you can't. That's not gonna work. All right, never mind. Okay, never mind. She'll bark. At least you'll hear her. That didn't work. Okay. Where are we here? BJK asks, when you eat raw broccoli in myrisinace transforms glucoraphanin into sulforaphane, does any glucoraphanin stay intact? And if so, blah, 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 would there be any benefits compared to just sulforaphane? Yes, some stays intact, but and are there benefits? I think most of the benefits are from that which is converted. So I would just do all those tricks to convert. That was a high-level question. I'm all for high-level questions. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go to my video, Second Strategy, something broccoli, on NutritionFacts.org. All right. Maple Flavor has optimum protein intake for muscle growth, 0.7 grams per pound of lean body weight. It's actually, well, I don't know about that. I think he or she is answering someone else's question. 0.8 grams per healthy kilogram body weight is what is our daily reference intake for protein. Comes out to be about 50 grams a day. A little more for men, a little less for women. Okay. BJK, is it okay to drink green tea right after brushing your teeth? Might it mess with the remineralization? No, it would actually help with remineralization because green tea is a natural source of fluoride. Okay. Looks like Byron is responding to somebody. And then GRC is back asking, are there natural multivitamins worth taking? There are no multivitamins worth taking as far as I'm concerned, unless science comes up and says that they're helpful, which so far is sorely lacking. Although I have not done a video on it in a while, so maybe there's some new research. I will get to it. That is in, I don't know if that's under V or M. I've just started my new surge through the alphabet. So I just have a lot of videos coming up over the next weeks on acne and berries and beans. But if your favorite food is zucchini, you're going to be waiting a while. All right. Rosexina asks, should we not eat plant-based foods high with contamination? I assume they're talking about pesticide contamination like cucumber, lettuce, grapes, and mushrooms. Cucumbers are among the least nutrient-dense foods, same with lettuce. But green light, whole plant foods, very low in caloric density. We should not stay away from any whole plant foods. We should eat them up, though there are always healthier choices. So a healthier choice than cucumber and lettuce would be a darker green. So particularly when lettuce is contaminated, like romaine lettuce is with E. coli, how about arugula on your salad or baby spinach, where darker is better? All right. Okay. There's a lot of responding to questions. Light Dark 00 says mushroom. Nope. And that's not a question. Oh, Rebecca asked, what do I feel about immunotherapy for allergies? Last time I checked, it was very controversial. I don't know what the latest is. Sorry, I can't help with that. A lot of answers. What aids sleep best and deals with anxiety? I'm going to be talking about stress management in my new book. I haven't got to that section yet. But most in terms of sleep, it's I do have some videos about melatonin, which is found naturally in a number of plant foods like strawberries and tart cherries, if I remember correctly. But most of healthy sleeping is really sleep hygiene. You want it dark, you want it cool, and quiet. And there's a whole bunch of things. If you type in sleep hygiene into Google, you get a lot of good tips. But there certainly are foods that may help. Oh, but what was the one food? Was it pistachios? Something. There's one that's just off the charts in terms of melatonin. The videos are coming up. I have videos on how to help with jet lag and light therapy and melatonin therapy. But you do not want to take melatonin supplements. That's something I learned. And it's kind of a scary reason why. But melatonin foods, you can get the benefits without the risk. And there's one food that's just crazy off the chart. I think it's pistachios. I'd have to check. And you can check by checking out the video, which should be coming up eventually, maybe a while. Okay. Turtles Rodriguez asks, I eat like Dr. Michael Greger, and my blood pressure is still freaking elevated, and my heart rate 80 beats per minute. It's too high. Can someone help me? I don't know why my body's so stupid when everyone is thriving. So if you are eating a whole food plant-based diet and still have elevated blood pressure, so my patients who've been in that situation, typically they're actually eating too much sodium. When they say they're eating whole food plant-based, often they say, well, I don't eat meat, dairy, eggs, or very infrequently, but they still may be eating packaged junk food, some of which has a lot of sodium. You wouldn't even know. Lots of stuff has salt in it. So cut their salt down. It still doesn't make it. And you really are eating whole plant foods, a diet centered on whole plant foods, then there are some foods that can drop your blood pressure lower. I talk about ground flax seeds. I talk about hibiscus tea and herbal tea. You can take that drops blood pressure down. So just check out the chapter, How Not to Die, or How Not to Die from High Blood Pressure. In How Not to Die, go to your local library, pull a copy, read the chapter. All right. Rebecca Naviera Asked what are my thoughts on chiropractic care and nutrition response testing. I do not know what nutrition response testing is. And I have not looked at how evidence-based chiropractic is. But sounds like a good video series. I think am I doing one on naturopaths? I don't know. I forget. But I think I have a folder of all the naturopathy literature. But I don't think I have one for chiropractic. If people really want to know, I'd be happy to look. If you want to type into PubMed, chiropractic and Cochrane, Cochrane. That's kind of the gold standard for evidence-based medicine. Presumably there might be some Cochrane reviews to talk about the kind of best available balance of evidence in terms of whether or not it's useful for any particular condition. Okay, Chelsea asks, what foods are best to combat depression? If you type in depression into NutritionFacts.org, I have a bunch of videos come up. My videos talking about how folate-rich foods may help. That's like beans and greens. Vitamin C-rich foods, which is like citrus and broccoli and bell peppers and tropical fruits. And then I talk about the whole serotonin thing. And so I think it was some kind of squash seeds, butternut squash seeds. But you have to check out the videos. Just type in depression. And that was actually going to be I'm going to do a book on foods and mental health, although I think I'm not writing until 2027. I think that's it's a few books still in the pipeline, but it's on my list. Rebecca asks, what do I feel about flu shots? It depends. So the CDC recommendation is basically everyone should get flu shots every year. It's particularly important for healthcare workers because they come in contact, or people that work with the elderly or with kids, any kind of demographic that may be particularly affected. You do not want to. So you may be young and healthy and be like, why do I care if I have why do I need the flu shot? Well, but look, if you visit your grandma, she cares if she gets the flu because it can result in pneumonia and can actually be really quite serious. One of the leading causes of death, respiratory tract infections in general. And so if not for you, you might want to do it for those now, if you're a hermit, not coming in contact with anybody, then it's a matter of whether or not you want to, you reduce your risk of kind of being out of commission for a few days. But if you're young and healthy, that's typically all you're facing. Although people with the flu are miserable, and whatever you're doing in your life, it will most certainly constrain you. So, of course, flu vaccines just reduce your risk of getting the flu. They don't eliminate your risk of getting the flu. Although I guess if you're a hermit and don't come in contact with anyone, you're not going to get it in the first place. Okay. Leanne says that she drinks chamomile tea to help her sleep. That sounds nice. Lots of people answering each other. Cicely says, how do I heal from trauma, PTSD? So I presume you're talking about psychological trauma. I don't think there's been any food work, but there's lots of things you can do in terms of that a psychologist can help you with. But nutrition, I have not seen anything. Although there's like anxiety work, there's certainly, so that I have videos on like generalized anxiety disorder. That's probably the closest that I would come. And the next in my it is 2:29, and I have a meeting in 60 seconds, actually with some people at MD Anderson talking about an exciting potential research project. So I have to head on out, but I will talk to everyone next month in my 2 Facebook Live and YouTube Live Q&A sessions. Even while I'm deep in book mode, I still want to make sure I have time to answer your questions. But the last one here was, something about amla. Is powdered amla worth taking? Make up your own mind by checking out my videos on amla, dried gooseberry powder. Happy spring, everybody.